Okay, good afternoon, folks. I hope everyone is well. So, we've had one hell of a lot of volume overnight. There's no arguing. That's a massive amount of volume. That's like half a day's worth of volume overnight. So, obviously, the elections, whether it's the result of the election or just the elections themselves, obviously spurred a lot of interest there. So, excuse me, pushed up to all-time highs. And obviously crypto did the same as well. Crypto's absolutely pumping at the moment, and I think rightly so. As we know, sort of Trump has won, and Trump was really pro-Bitcoin. So leg and a big drop. See if we get a lower high here. Trump was really pro-Bitcoin.
Order
so
submitted.
That's why I think crypto is pumping. So, two pushes up here. I wonder if anybody got trapped there. Too late now, this thing's coming down. We had a channel there with two legs up. It was sat on the EMA, just above the EMA, so I think that would have been a bit risky. But I did take a trade on this bar, but on my other chart. Let me just get rid of this at the moment.
Order
The price has
cancelled.
come down anyway. So, how you doing, Speedy? So that one there, channel down, leg a leg. I can only trade one of my accounts, so I took that one for 3 points and it worked. It worked beautifully. I can't trade the others until 2:30, so I have one that I can sort of have a little bit of control over. So two legs up and it worked. It didn't work for much. Well, actually it did because the ATR is high, so I'd say probably 4 or 5 points. Let's have a look. 4.5 points, so anything 4 points and under. How you doing, Ryan? Tesla is up $30 in reach. Yeah, price is going mad at the moment, isn't it? Because of well, I'm assuming because of Trump. We know Trump's pro Bitcoin anyway, and I know Bitcoin's doing really well at the moment. Bitcoin hit all-time highs, but everything Bitcoin is pumping. Let's have a quick look. So Bitcoin at the moment is up 7%. That's just today. That's over 74,000 now. Ethereum, not fantastic. Fantastic Ethereum this year. But Solana is $13 off 200. That's up 13%. Doge is pumping massively, 13.5%. Another one that I bought recently, Link's up 10%. Sui, I've done really well on Sui. That's up 15%. I just saw someone talking about Sui a couple of months ago and I bought some. So everything's pumping at the moment. 10, 11, 12%. Render's another one I've got some of. That's up 12%. Ondo, where's that? I got some Ondo. That is up 13%. So everything's pumping massively. As we know, yeah, but what's it is pro-Bitcoin. Trump's pro-Bitcoin. So that's why, well, I'm assuming that's why that crypto is working nicely. So I do wonder whether Bitcoin will have a bit of a good push now. It's kind of been floating around the sort of 70,000 for the last couple of weeks. So anyway, what's going on here? Is this coming down some more? It may well do, you know. We've had a big move up. Let's have a look. See if there's a channel there. If there is, it's broken, I think. Not sure. So we've got a channel there, two legs up. That was the better one to take. That is a penguin trade, that is, for sure. I'm guessing he will probably get in somewhere around about here, put his stop up here, and out comfortably before the low. So channel down there, two pushes up. That one probably trapped a few, stopped them out. Hey, Jan, how you doing, buddy? So that one would have worked really well. Leg and a leg. There was two legs there, but that one is just, sometimes I think just that little bit of extra patience keeps you out of those. So I'll be surprised if he hasn't taken that one. So, leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here. Just going to move that up to there just to see that we're not maybe finding a bit of support here. So leg and a leg. So yeah, massive amount of volume. That's the most volume I've seen for a long time overnight. Usually something like that, we've had double the volume, I'd say. So channel down, on level, one push up, second push up. This looks like it's ranging channel with a couple of legs. I'd say there's a fair chance it's going to come down here. There is liquidity there, so I'll see. But my gut is this thing's going to come down at least below here, possibly retest these. So let's, yeah, a couple of legs will get us below there. So we'll see what happens anyway. But it is still a bit volatile, so price is still bouncing around a bit. Before we put, yeah, that ATR is still quite high. I'm assuming as news was coming in, I think it was pretty early that I think Trump was. I'd tell you what, it comes through a lot quicker than it does in the UK. It'll start overnight, but usually it takes a couple of 3 days. But I think we've known for a fair few hours that Trump's taken this one. So channel down, looking for a couple of pushes up and then down below this level. So all-time highs, we're not far off the 6,000s. We've never been up here before, just here, not a million miles away at all. 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 points. Okay, so there's a lower high there. I don't think that's a bad setup myself, but it's massive and it ain't finished yet. It's 18 ticks. It is a little bit congested there, but I think there's a fair chance this thing's coming down, but I'm not interested in that. I don't like the wick anyway. It's 18 ticks, tick above, tick below. I'm not risking 5 points on that, but my guess is this is going to come down. Below there, quite possibly below here, but we got a leg up and a leg up. I don't like that wick, and it is stacking just a little bit. See if we get a failure there. But yeah, I think, I'm pretty sure this is going to come down below there, possibly even there, but we're clearly sort of up, down, up. So leg and a leg makes sense, doesn't it? But it is stacking a little bit, so that can change things. So channel down, one push up. I wonder if we get a second leg. Failure there. That's not a bad setup, I don't think. I like that. But it's massive, and there's not much room to the lows. If this breaks below here, I can see it taking that out. It's just too big for me, and it is a little bit stacked up. It hasn't triggered anyway. There's a possibility we could get a second attempt. So channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Sometimes if you're getting a bit early, it can sting you. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, buddy? So that might be a better option. That's a better failure, I think. But it's still stacking. So one push up, second push up. I am testing Top Step X. That's their own platform, I believe, isn't it? I've been playing around a little bit with Quanta, but it's complicated, I think. Maybe it's not as complicated as it seems, but it looks complicated. So let's have a look. So that big bullish bar has triggered there. So I still think leg up, this thing's coming down. But I'm not trading it. It's just stacked at the moment. Channel, the break, lower high. The stop's still intact at the moment on there, but it's stacking up, so it could come a bit higher. So, but this big bullish bar here is off the bottom. And there's another big bullish bar, so my gut feeling is it's going to break below here and here, but it may have that second leg up first. There's the first leg up. That's a better one. There's a second entry short there. I don't think it's going to form, though. One leg up, second leg up. So it's broken above there. I'd like to see that come really bearish. It's not going to, is it? Looks better on the other bar, on the other chart. That looks much better. Channel down, 2 pushes up. I really like that trade. My only issue with that is it's stacked up, so I'm leaving it, but I think that's going to work. It's a beautiful bar. It is a second entry short, but it's stacked up, so it can go against you there. So it's just too risky. It's a shame, really, because we got a channel down, 1 push up, second push up, lovely second entry short. But when it's like this, it can turn. That's tempting. Lower high. But unfortunately, I'm just going to have to stay out of this. I think it'll work, but it's the best of the bunch. But when it stacks up like this, it's just a bit unpredictable. So, a sensible person in me. But I think it'll work. In fact, my gut feeling now is that is going to be the bar now that's going to push this straight down. But look at that straight away. It just goes to show you, doesn't it? As nice as that second entry looks, and there is a lower high, when it stacks up like this, it really can just go in any direction. There's going to be a fair amount of shorts trapped there. Excuse me. Let's see if that one holds the second entry short. Yeah, when it goes sideways like that, sometimes as obvious as it is or as nice as it looks, it can really mess you around. You'll have to let us know how you get on with that, Jan. That top step X. The only thing about changing platforms for me is I use that Guardian Angel, and I kind of like it. And not only that, I've been using this platform for 3.5 years now, so you really get to know something well, don't you? So you can open trades and close trades pretty quickly. But it is getting quite popular, that quant hour. Lots of people are starting to use it. 1, 2, 3. This could be a triple test. Same again. I'm staying out of this because it does look like it may be slowly working up. 1, 2, 3. It is kind of a triple test, isn't it? But there's been so many traps there. So I've just got to just sit and wait, unfortunately. But I thought that was... where was the second entry short? It was on my other chart. I thought for sure that was going to work. No commissions on Top Step X. Someone else has got no or lower commissions. The same pound for pound for micros as minis. Because micros, trading micros in your own account can work out quite expensive. You could consider that a second entry short there. Sorry, my mistake. A triple test. But I would prefer it a bit higher. But there's so many traps here. You've just got to be careful. So I'd like to see it get down below here and then there as well. But it does seem like it may be working in this area. So let's see it take that out. There we go. And let's see what it does here. One, two, three. So my gut feeling is one of these was going to work. So that second entry triggered, got stopped out. That higher low or failure or whatever it is got triggered and stopped out. So there's loads of traps there. My gut feeling it was going to come down, but that's the trouble. I mean, ordinarily, you wouldn't think that was a bad trade, apart from the fact that it's stacked up. It's still a second entry short. Nice bearish bar, trapping some longs, but it just goes to show when it's sideways, it can mess you around before it finally goes in the direction that you think. And it often does that. So it's taken that out and that out. So it's cleared all this now. And I'd say that's close to a measured leg. So it just goes to show you, as bearish as it's looking, or as much as we think this thing's going to come down and clear this and maybe test this, you just don't know when it's going to do it. That's the problem. Took that triple test. Yeah, it did look like a triple test. The trouble is, this one kind of did as well. Push up, push up. That one kind of did. Now, obviously, it's a bit lower, so the market's still coming down, but I didn't think that looked terrible. But I stayed out of it because it's congested. I've learned over the time that when it starts doing this, it can be a bit more unpredictable, but it did stop that. And eventually, once it had cleared out this area, then it pushed down. So on this chart, it definitely looked better, that one. You're trapping some bulls. You've cleared out stops from the bears. I can't see, although it's two legs up, there may be some selling there, but when it hit that one, that was the sort of the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So I'm guessing that measured move now has played out. It has. So is this thing going to retrace somewhat? Oh, I could put that like that, really, and okay, so whichever, it's worked. So leg and a leg, big bullish bar. I don't think that's a terrible trade. Channel break, new low. It's a breakout of this, but I don't pick tops and bottoms as a rule. Higher lows maybe, but we've had such a strong push up. I wouldn't be surprised if it did retrace some. But it's a failed break out of this, maybe a failed break out of this. So I think there's a good chance we get up to that EMA, but the bar's naff anyway. So it is a channel with a break and a new low, so it is a leg and a leg. That EMA is quite high as well. Sorry, ATR. It's not been this high for a while. I'm hoping it calms down. If you look at this and then look at this, these bars are getting progressively smaller. So hopefully this thing should start to continue down, hopefully. Anybody trading this? I noticed Nutty was trading last night. I think throughout the night, actually, or certainly up to late. And who else? Nutty was trading. An Alpine, I think. I wondered why, to be honest with you, but now I see this, there's a fair amount of trading there. And obviously with the good news from market's point of view, I think the market's like that Trump won. I think certainly cryptocurrency, as we knew, was gonna move. I think that was clear. We know he's pro Bitcoin, pro crypto, so I only trade overnight now, and some in the morning. Yeah, I mean, I suppose this is, I suppose you'd call this the Asian time frame overnight, can't you? But it doesn't have a lot of volume. I'm assuming you got to move on to a smaller chart or a minute chart or 2 minute chart or something like that. Okay, so what's going on? Let's give that a little bit of space, see if we can get someone else. So there may be 2 channels there, break, 2 pushes to a new low. Yeah, he did. He was at the Bitcoin rally, wasn't he? Maybe a few months back. I don't think he knows a lot about Bitcoin because he did say he may use a few Bitcoin to pay off the national debt, not knowing that the whole market or, you know, the whole value of Bitcoin is a fraction the size of the national debt, isn't it? I think so. I don't think he's very knowledgeable about crypto, mind you. He might be, you never know. But I did see that. Did anybody see that impersonator that was doing him talking about Bitcoin? I thought that was hilarious. So crypto is doing great at the moment. So wow, yeah, you did do well on it, didn't you? Good on you, mate. Wow. Is that from one account? Wow, you did really well there, mate. Good on you. Good on you. Let's have a look at his cryptocurrency. Nice. Bitcoin's all-time highs, around about the 74,000. I mean, Solana's had a fantastic year in all fairness. It went down to as low as $8. I think it was, in fact, I had about 40 of them at one point. I think I bought them at $18, sold them at 20 something, but that's the trouble with crypto. You just never know. I always had a good feeling about Solana. I only ever had good things about it. But you just never know what's going to happen. But yeah, it went down to $8 at one point. Oof. 180 something. Yeah, wow. That was the runner. You did all right on there, Rose. Some good on you, mate. Okay, channel break, new low. What's going on here? So there is a little bit of support there. We've had a little bounce there, so let's give that a little bottom. See what happens. I'll be surprised if it doesn't retest this. If there is a larger channel. No, I don't think so. VWAP bounce. Carlo, you're a new face. Where are you from, buddy? Always nice to have some new faces here. I'm guessing that name is what? Is that sort of South American or something, is it? So, lag. VWAP, yeah. I don't use VWAP, but I'm guessing it's up here somewhere, is it? Oh, Miami, Florida. Excellent. Excellent. Got you. I'm always jealous of people living in warm places. It's flipping freezing here in the UK at the moment. And wet. Surprise, surprise. I'm surprised we haven't... we're not born with weather feet in this country. All it seems to do is rain. I don't know why people like coming here. So here we go, channel break. Now, you could extend that. I'm not sure there, but that is 2 nice legs. I actually like that as a trade. Any slight concern about this? It's not going to work anyway, is it? It's very tempting, that is. Bar's enough anyway. It is 2 nice legs, though. Moved over to the islands. Lovely. So it's a shame that bar, that's 2 nice little pushes up there. So it looks like it's going to come down, at least break below there and there, I'm guessing. But that bar, unfortunately, was a bit naff. But I expect it to break below here. But we have had a channel with a break in new low, so you have got to be a little bit careful there. But I'm guessing it's probably going to break below there. It took out the failure that triggered. Let's have a look. I expect it to get below there. It'd be nice to get a lower high, but we're nearly there now, so I'll be surprised if there isn't any stops there. I wonder what pullback that is from there. Get below there, come on. I like that. Two nice legs up there and down. There we go. It's a shame that wasn't a nicer bar, because I'd have had a go at that for sure. I love that look. I love it when you get those legs like that, you know, kind of more or less on the same plane, just maybe, you know, maybe a point difference. The trouble is, I find the more they're like that, the more accurate they are. Where's this path tool here? So that type of thing, when they're like that went up a little bit higher, didn't it? They really seem to do well. But it's when they're like this, they're a little bit more unpredictable. Sort of up like that. And you sort of hope they're going to sort of come down like that. The more steep they are, the more unpredictable they are. But you bring this down to that and that down to that, it just makes them so more appealing. Almost side by side. So yeah, it's a shame we didn't get a nicer bar. I love the fact that we were trapping that failure. Nice big bullish bar off the bottom. You can guarantee there's going to be some people buying that. Channel break, new low. Nice failure. There's a lower high there, see? As that comes below, it starts to push up. So I dare say there's going to be some longs there, thinking we're going to trap some shorts here. And rightly so it did, but then it turned straight back down. So bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm Norwegian, just a bit nervous about the security regarding NATO now. It'll be interesting to see how Trump deals with Putin. If I remember rightly, how long they've been that? I remember how long now. It's been a couple of years, isn't it? I wonder what involvement, if any, they'll have with Israel. With Israel and in Iran. In fact, I'll tell you what I was watching a couple of nights ago. I mentioned him before. That the guy who's the pilot, you'll know him, Jan. What's his name? Is he Norwegian, is he? What's his name? He talks about airline accidents and what happened. I forget his name now. Ginger head guy, isn't he? Ah, it's on the tip of my tongue. I think he's from your neck of the woods. So is this going to continue down, or have we had two legs up and two legs down and this is reversing? There is a higher low there, but I'm tempted to just leave that, I think, just in case. That's tempting, but I'm going to stay out of that. It is a second entry short, but that is a leg to me, so I'm just sitting tight here. It's not triggering anything anyway, luckily. But it could be another way down. It could continue down, but with this, 2 legs up, 2 legs down, it's all kind of played out, so... Now, 1, 2, 3... So I'm going to remove that a minute and just focus on this channel. So it's definitely volatile today. Market's moving quite quick, which is kind of nice. That ATR's come down nice now. It was over 4 when I started, so it's come down at least a point. That's better. Be nice to get that around into the 2s. So I like the speed of this. It is moving. Sometimes it can be so damn boring and slow. I kind of like the fact that it's moving a little bit, but it's not too bad. So it does kind of look like there may be some bottom in here. How long did it take me to feel comfortable? Who told you I felt comfortable? I feel comfortable trading. I feel comfortable that I know enough. But it's that constant battle with it's that constant battle I think that we all face with discipline, isn't it? You know, sometimes you sort of see a trade and you think, do I or don't I? And you still have that kind of impatient voice in there. But I feel pretty comfortable. And I think a big part of it is learning when to stay out. I think sometimes you've got to know what's going on all of the time. And it simply ain't the case. But I feel okay. But I'd say, how long did it take me till I started feeling comfortable that I knew what was going on? Probably a couple of years, I suppose, to get more competent. It's hard to say because you sort of come along very slowly. You don't focus so much on the skill of trading that you're improving. You tend to focus more on the negative side of it. You know, the losing, the blowing accounts, that tends to suck up so much of your thought. And you tend to forget that your skill is sort of growing in the background. But it's a tough one, really. It's a hard business. Sometimes you feel like you know what's going on and you're in a great place, and then something will come along and shock you, and you start questioning it again. But there's so many failures when you learn to trade. It's very hard to sort of get that self-belief. But I am definitely in a better place than I was last year, and I was in a better place then than I was the year before, and so on. But I'm still relatively new to trading. I'm coming up sort of 4 years, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time really. But yeah, I definitely feel comfortable. You've just really got to wait until you know exactly what's going on, because it's very hard. These things bouncing around all the time. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly where price is going. I mean, this looks like it's trying to push up again, doesn't it? To retest something. But you never quite know. You go long, it triggers you and starts to come down some more. There's always a possibility we could have this thing looking like it's going up. It could come down, but what I will say is we got a channel with a break. There's a little bit of congestion there. So you may think you could trade that as a fail break out of this, but I'm not convinced this thing is still going up at the moment after this. So I'm going to give this the benefit of the doubt and kind of stay away. I mean, you could argue we've already had a break if you keep that tight to there. Small break, 2 pushes to a new high, but you just never know. When do you adjust your chart? Do you adjust your chart? I'm almost 10 months in and learning Pat. Some days I feel like I've got it. Yeah, you'll get a lot of that, mate. I'll tell you something. I'm going to give you a piece of advice. I know you haven't asked for it, but I'm going to give you a piece anyway. Be really careful how much you spend, because you can throw thousands of this. I'm not kidding you. I would say my best advice would give you is don't put your own money in. Because of the emotional side with this, you can really get sucked in and feel like you're losing control. So I would say, first and foremost, don't put your own money in. And then move in when you start to feel like I'm getting it, and move to the next level. I would go for an evaluation, but never get more than one. Only ever get one valuation at a time, because once you start buying valuations and trade copies, when you have a bad trade, you have 5 bad trades or 10, and you just copy bad trades. So the fact that you've stuck at it 10 months is a good sign. But really keep on top of those purse strings. It's so easy to get through money, evaluation after valuation, and just focus on seeing a trade that you believe is a good one and taking it. Don't worry if it loses. That's how you learn. You'll start to build up patterns in your learning. You'll start to, when you're looking at these, you'll start to build up a picture in your head of what works and what doesn't. And sooner or later, you'll start to look at these and go, I either like it or I don't. So, but keep control of those purse strings, and only ever when you move to evaluations, which you need to, because you need to expose yourself to risk to know what it feels like, but only ever have one at a time, and you'll make your experience a lot less frustrating and a lot less costly, that's for certain. It's so easy to get through evaluation after evaluation. Oh, you can throw so much money at this thing, it's unreal. So also, if you ever want to chat about anything, you can private message me or email me. I'll happily chat morning, noon and night trading. Anything's on your mind, or you don't know something, or you need a bit of a pep talk after a bad day, just drop me a message and I'll chat with you anytime, buddy. It's nice to have people around you when you're learning, because it is frustrating. So is this thing going up, or are we going to trap this long and this thing's coming down some more? I'm staying out of this at the moment. EMA's flat and it is a little bit stacking. Channel down, 1 push up, 2 push up, trap some longs, come down. That's a possibility. But I don't want to take that as a long because it's under that EMA. Oh, absolutely it is, yeah. I never really understood the meaning of the word journey until I started trading, and it definitely feels like it. It can wear you out sometimes, but take regular breaks as well. Take a few days off. Sometimes you can get a bit obsessed with it and just spend every bloody minute of every day on it. And it's important to get away from the charts once in a while and have a break. But another thing as well I can tell you is don't beat yourself up when things go wrong. This isn't easy. Being able to earn this type of money is never going to be easy. So when you fail and you make mistakes, try and get something positive for it. And don't beat yourself up, because it can get frustrating at times. It can change your mood from time to time. Yeah, so just if you're having a bad day, talk to someone. You can message me, or there's plenty of people on the Facebook group, to get a little bit of we all need a pep talk once in a while. See you all. You done, are you? You take it easy, Osam. So this thing is starting to look like it's going to push up, but I'm still not convinced it won't turn. In my opinion, that was too risky. We got a channel down, one attempt to go higher. It could trigger that and come down, but it does look like it's starting to move. But this could be just a correction. This may continue down some more, so I'm not convinced that this thing isn't coming down. Mind you, it's also like a bull flag. Big strong push up, there's your flag, and then woof up we go. I'm not sure about what's going on at the moment. So that is certainly a possibility. A second leg up would probably get us to this area, so I'm just going to sit tight and wait and see what happens here. Yeah, it's a shame really there wasn't a higher low there. That would have been a better option, but that one, in my opinion, is a bit too risky below the EMA. There's no room. And after this channel down there, you don't know whether we're going to push up once, push up a second time, trap some longs and come down and retest these lows. So we're getting close to the tops. Ooh, cold coffee. Ooh. Okay, excuse me just for a quick minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. So I'm not sure whether that's a channel or not. I've just put it like that because it kind of fits there, and I'm putting it there just out of curiosity to see what happens when it hits this. It has bounced in kind of that same line now. Obviously, that's overshot it a bit, but I'm not too concerned about that. Excuse me. So I just want to see what happens if it reacts to this line. So that measured move gets us a bit further up. I dare say there may be some people short in this, but in my opinion, there's a little bit more space. So it could still go up and break a bit higher. Yeah, really keep a control on those purse strings. It's so easy to get through money. You know, they used to have 90% off, which was about $17, and I kind of think it made them a lot of money and lost traders a lot more money. The trouble is, when you're only paying $17, it's like anything. The cheaper something is, the less care you take with it. You know, we all have good intentions to take our time, but when you're paying $17 for an evaluation, it's so easy. You know, if you think it's going down, but price is moving towards your stop, it's so easy just to move your stop. And it can get you into some bad habits. So I'm glad they stick at 80% off. I think it's probably doing us more favours than you might think. So let's see what happens here. So twice it's reacted there. That's moving down quite sharpish. So if we can get below that EMA. Oh, look, wow. It came straight down, then shot straight back up. Let's see what happens here. Right, I am aware that this may not be a channel. I'm just purely putting it here just to see if it reacts to this line. So, kind of on a channel here with a break. One attempt at a new high. So, new high. There'll have been some people short in that for sure, which is why I think we had that little bit of a spike there. Quick little push up and took out some stops. So, let's get rid of that for a minute. Back above 74,000. 74.3. All-time high. Everything's pumping beautifully. What we like to see, green everywhere. So Thomas Way's just dropped that in right now, so he's looking at that as well. Someone else's, so makes sense. Just wondering whether this is whether it is kind of making range bottoms. Possibly. Okay, where could this go? Up here. So we could do it getting a little bit higher there and then get back in. If we can get a couple of legs back here. Wouldn't mind having a go along there. Let me just check this for measured move. I think we're way above that. We are. Yeah, comfortably past that. Exactly where we wanted to get to. So hopefully, the legs back here confirm this channel and we can get in somewhere. Hopefully, whether it does or not is a different matter. You can bet your bottom dollar there's going to be liquidity around here. Certainly, there'll be people picking tops here, hoping this thing's going to tank. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Definitely there, I would have thought. Well, in fact, this whole area. Yeah, once it gets into this area, it's going to be taken out. Stops, leg down, 2 legs up, bearish bar. Didn't break below there. Didn't break above there. Didn't break it below, and then it dropped. So there's after that big move, there's going to be people over here picking tops. Hopefully, and this thing comes down. Interesting to see when it gets into this area. Certainly, I'd say there. That'd be my first place. Okay, we're getting to this area now. There's going to be stops there. Okay, we're going to quick push above there. If I was going to short here, though, for a big move down, you'd be thinking about keeping your stops above here, I dare say. So, interesting whether this thing comes down first before it pushes any higher, or indeed it may even not get above here. See, I suppose there's always a possibility that there is. This might be the top of a range. It's bouncing between this area and this area. It's hard to say, really. But there's, in my opinion, there's got to be a lot of liquidity of this. As we had, whatever happened here, we made multiple attempts to push off, then we came down. 2 legs up, we had 2 legs down, 2 legs up, 2 legs down, leg and a leg, and then the thing dropped. Now we're retesting this area. So there's bound to be traders picking tops here, isn't there, for this thing to push back down to a degree. So I dare say there's going to be a ton of stops here, and I'm guessing there's going to be a bunch in and around this area. It broke above there by a tick or so, but if you were going to short this thing right the way down, I dare say you'd put your stop 1 tick above this. It's probably going to be around about up here somewhere. So interested to see if it does start to work through this, where it goes. Kind of looks like a spike and channel to me. Okay, there may be something larger, but I like how that fits. So let's see where this goes, if anywhere. But if it moves into the thick of this, it's going to start eating up some stops. So I'd expect it to push through relatively quickly. But it could bounce, come back down. I don't know how I'd feel if you got a leg down here and another leg, second entry long. I don't know how I'd feel going along into this, because we've clearly got support up here. So if it gets above this, it could move into this area and then pull back quickly. There's clearly selling there, selling there, selling there. I'm guessing if it gets above here, well, people may start adding to it. So I don't like the idea of going long here just at the moment. Not into this, although there may be two legs down. It might be okay for a point, but I go for 3, so I really don't want to get involved in going long into this lot. Have to kind of see what we get. Yeah, I mean, this thing could tank potentially. This doesn't look to me like it's going to try again. Looks like it's coming down. Having said that, if you've got a bigger channel, there it is, isn't it? And maybe you may feel differently. Let's have a look. Touch. So leg and a leg. It may work. It depends whether you've got enough space to those highs. There's just such a lot of support up here. That worries me a little bit. I mean, it may push straight through it, but it may not. Oh, it's all right, I've done it. Very tempting. I don't like the bar here. If we can get a higher low, there is enough room up here. I mean, it could push up from here, but there's such a lot of support up here. That's my concern. So I think taking a long here is risky. Yeah, there we go. That's the problem, is when you get up here twice, and we've been up here before, you can clearly see that's an area where there's volume. and it's pushing the market down. We pushed down once, we had 2 more attempts, and it tanked. We pushed up. We've had one other go. Let's see if we get 2 legs, it has another go. But every time it comes into this area there, it's coming down, and then obviously the third time's a charm, and down we came. So going long here, in my opinion, is a little bit risky. Now that is a break. If that's how you're looking at it, it still may work, but I'm probably sitting tight here. Yeah, this thing's starting to look like it's coming down. Fortunately, it didn't give anything. Having said that, on my other charts, 2 legs, you may have gone along there, but after all this support here, I think going along there is risky. It may work, but you've got to pay attention to that. Now, it may have another go, but we pushed down here. We had 3 attempts, and then it tanked. It went down, what, sort of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 points, somewhere in about that, more or less straight down. So it may have another go, but I'm not holding any hope. Some are saying there's an overshoot there. There isn't on my chart. If I keep that tight there and tight here, it fits perfectly nice. I suppose if you've got another chart, let's have a look at my other one. No, my other chart isn't showing any overshoots. Touch. It's fitting perfectly. Touch. So for me, there's no overshoot. The only reason for this to come down is we're hitting this area and we're struggling. Every time it gets in there, it's reversing. Well, pushing down, let's call that push. This is the reverse. As a small overshoot. Yeah, as I noticed, there's a couple of people saying they got overshoots. On both my charts, I haven't. But I'm not thinking about a long year at the moment anyway. I know usually after an overshoot, I'd avoid the next second entry long or next trade. But this thing, to me, if it doesn't push up from here, it's coming down, I think. But you have to pay attention to that. We pushed into it, we dropped out of it. We pushed into it, we dropped out of it. We had another attempt to, and then the thing just plummeted. So this area, there's clearly sellers, and this is no different. I'd have preferred it to get a bit higher, but it's had 2 attempts and it's dropped. Not quite as dramatically as this, but it's not far away. But in fact, it looks very similar. We got this little bit now. If it doesn't do anything here, then this is coming down for me, and that was my thought process about this, having a line here. Maybe this is just, Mac has as a bear channel using the extreme tops up here. I did have something like that initially from here. Was it here? Yeah, it was there. I wanted to see how it reacted to this, and it pushed through it. So, yeah, I've just got mixed feelings about it. I liked it earlier. I don't so much now. Even shallower. So, you're on about something like that, are you? Or did I just do that? Did I just do that? But I had it more like that, didn't I? Or when you say shallow, you had something like this. You know about there, are you, Jay? That actually looked quite nice, and then we had the bit of an overshoot, which might have. I'm assuming you mean like that, don't you? Or are you including that? Oh, we're not broken out of it. Oh, okay. So he's got it like that, has he? Yeah, he does have these odd channels like that, Mac does. It must be like that. Yeah, I know. It's unusual, really, some of the channels he has, isn't it? But, you know, he knows what he's doing, so it does look a bit odd. The more they get like sideways, the less sort of kind of reliable they are. But he does have these obscure setups sometimes. No one else has got anything like that. So this for me, regardless, I'm going to get rid of it just at the minute anyway. I'm not saying he don't know what he's doing, but he, you know, midline fits too. I never would have found it. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Let's have a look here, see if we can get another attempt to go higher. What I will say, now I know Mac doesn't trade like this. He doesn't necessarily, well, maybe he does. But from looking at other traders and that, when we have areas like this that clearly comes into and drops, and we've done it again, I have to pay attention to that because you can clearly see there's sellers there trying to force this thing down. Now, it doesn't mean it will work, but 3 times it tried there, on the 3rd time it tanked. We've had 2 little pushes here, so it may have a go again or it may just come down. So, yeah, Thomas Wade's got a small overshoot there. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't trust anyone who trades in hindsight. Yeah. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I still have this Sado dream that I get an email with tomorrow's chart on it. You can dream, can't we? I have these little weird things coming sometimes. Wouldn't that be nice to get the chart, to get tomorrow's chart so we know exactly what happened? Oh, wouldn't that be a godsend, wouldn't it? Yeah, they can. Yeah, after the fact it is easy because you know what happened. It's really easy to find charts when you've got a... yeah, I have these weird little daydreams I do where I still get that one quite often. Where I get a tomorrow's chart. Oh, wouldn't that be so nice having the screen above your head with exactly where the market was going? You'd be able to make a fortune. I was hoping we may get a lower high there or a couple of legs up, but this thing looks like it's already made its mind up to me. Yeah, maybe yeah, that's it. Maybe they're getting that email and we're not. Yes, some people. Mind you, what I think I have learned, for some reason we put these guys on a pedestal. You think they're the best traders in the world, they make an absolute fortune, when really they take their fair share of losses. It's just one, how they deal with them and how they keep that focus and discipline. You know, we all need the DeLorean. I know. There was, I've mentioned this a few times, there was a program on, I think it was in the 90s, I think. Early News or something like Early Edition, I think it was called. The guy used to come out of his flat in the morning. There was a paper. There was a cat outside there, and there was a newspaper always outside his flat. It was outside his flat, and he used to get the paper with the day's news before it happened. Early Edition, it was called. Oh, wouldn't that be nice to get emailed the chart for the day early in the morning? Oh, it'd be lovely. I've got to stop dreaming like this. So, shame we didn't get anything there, because I really like that channel. Fits really nice. Clear break up to the EMA, and then down. Perhaps it's just me that has these weird, odd daydreams. I used to get one that what was it? There was a car in a river and I saved the life of this person, and they happened to be a billionaire and they gave me a massive amount of money. Weird stuff going through my head like all the time. I know. I'm a nutter. You had to know it at some point. I'm weird. Now, where is this thing going? For me, I think it's lost its push at the moment. I can't see. That to me doesn't look like a channel that's going to retest. It may do, but I don't think it'll retest any more than here personally. Curious why you've never tried order flow. I did. I had a look at it once. I got it. I think you had a. There was a. I think it was. Was it? What was the company I got it from? Is it GOM or whatever? Something like that. And I got it for free for a few weeks or a couple of weeks. And I had a look at it. Now, I think with order flow, you've got to put a little bit of time into it because at first glance, it's just a bunch of numbers which don't make any sense. But don't get me wrong, I've heard a lot of traders saying that it's really helped their trading. Now, whether it makes a difference what kind of strategy you have, I don't know. Now, I scalp and I go usually just for 3 points. So, if I was shorting that there, I'd kind of be in and out there. So I don't go for a huge move. So whether order flow helps you, take bigger moves on that, I don't really know. Using Sierra charts or Jigsaw can be challenging over time. You start to see what's actually happening in real time. Yeah, I believe you're right. Would it help a scalper? Or is it, for bigger moves where you sort of may see volume where you get in for a bigger move down? Or would it help you if you just went for a couple of points? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to go for more if the option was there. But I do believe that it is something that you've got to invest time in. And don't get me wrong, I'm not completely averse to the idea. Anything that could help my trading interests me, absolutely. I think you've got to keep your eyes and ears open, haven't you? It's not a case of learning this one thing and then forgetting everything else. I think you've got to keep, you've got to have your eyes open. There is a higher low there that's triggered. So possible second entry short, possible wider channel down. Trouble is we got some support there, so yeah, I am going to have to invest some time into it. Like you say, over time you start to see what's actually happening. I don't think it can be a bad thing. Anything that helps you. So possibly a second entry short here. Going short into that makes me nervous. Took that higher low. You took that one there. Wow, that's so tempting to go short there. There's going to be a lot of liquidity. The trouble is we're at the bottom. There's no space. It's very tempting, but I can't go short into that lot. I kind of had a good idea what it was going to do, but it is a second entry short. You are trapping that higher low. I had a fair idea it was going to be this, but I just have this sheet of paper next to my desk saying, taking a trade, look left, and there is a bunch. You took that higher low too there. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because of the leg with the break. We have made a new low, but this for me is rejecting there. It's getting sellers. So my feeling is this is going to come down, which is why I wouldn't have had a go at that. I mean, if you take a point, there's enough space at EMA, so there's no issues there. But my gut is this was going to come down some more, but I couldn't have shorted into that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got a bunch of bars there, which is a shame because it worked quickly. I typically aim for 16 to 20 ticks, but you can see how the price is moving. Watching the bids and offers, seeing how we're hitting the tape and observing how things go. Yeah, do you know what? I think I am going to spend some time. Now, I have watched videos about it before, but I've never actually committed. So, can you suggest any YouTuber or whatever, that explains it particularly well? Is there anything you can recommend? But anything that is going to help my trading, help me, see the bigger picture, I'm absolutely all for. So if you can recommend anybody, by all means, let me know. But I need a challenge anyway. Go with Mr. Order Flow. Take a photo of that. Mr. Order Flow. I'll have a look at that later. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Order Flow. I did watch. I'll tell you who I watch. Who's the guy from, well, I thought he was from Dubai, but he's America. Ashraf something. He's the guy that owns TradeZella. I watch him a lot. I like what he's got to say. He's not big. He's not flash. He tells you like it is. And I know he's done a couple of videos about order flow. And he said it was a game changer for him. So I always like a new challenge and something new to learn. So I'm going to invest some time into it. So I appreciate that. So thank you. Just watch his content and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, I will. I'll have a look later. I need something new to watch. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, shame about that. I did like it. It was a second entry short. It is working nice down there, but unfortunately it's into support. As much as I think it's more likely going to come down, yeah, I'll have a look later, definitely. Thank you. I do hear so many people talking about it, so anything I think that can help. I think as a trader, you've got to constantly learn new skills, develop. I don't think it matters. I know people say find a strategy and stick to it. Absolutely, I believe in that. But learning extra skills it is footprint chart. I think they're all the same, aren't they? Footprint and order flow, or are they? Footprint and order flow. I think footprint doesn't footprint. I think they are the same. But I love a new challenge. Yeah. I think someone's got me wrong. Hi, Diane. Are you free tomorrow? Let's have afternoon tea. Don't know any Diane. It's the closest view of what's happening in real time. So they are the same, are they? Beginning. I thought there was no way anyone could understand this. No, I can't believe I've ever traded without it. Yeah, I've heard quite a few people say that. It's almost like being blind without the DOM. So DOM is depth of market, isn't it? So a footprint order flow in the DOM very similar? Because the DOM is just sort of like or is that just constantly showing the current bar? Maybe not. I think sometimes when you start to learn it, you start to understand it all a bit more. But yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to invest some time. I've took a couple of photos of that guy you mentioned, and I'm going to when my wife and daughter go to bed tonight, I'm going to get in front of the big TV and spend a couple of hours having a look tonight, and then I'll put some time in every night. I personally don't use footprint, just the DOM, volume profile and regular candlesticks. I suppose until you understand it, it's hard to know exactly what will benefit you, but I'll start with that guy you mentioned, Mr. Order Flow, and I'll take it from there. How do you feel about going for 12 ticks instead of 8? I do, bud. I do. I have mine, if you look here, set for 3 ticks. I adjust I have it set to 12 ticks, my stop loss, but yeah, I do go for 3 points. Obviously, I adjust just that accordingly to but yeah, that's what I go for, mate, 12 ticks. So this channel is working nice. Now, what I've got to be careful of is going long, short again. If we've made a measured leg, we've nearly made a measured leg. In fact, if I take that down to there, that's close. Possible hidden second entry short there. I like the fact that we're testing this line here.
Order submitted.
Order ready. I want to see how it finishes. Okay, I'm quite glad that finished enough.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, that's a shame. Let's see if it does push down. It was a hidden second entry short, but the signal bar's poor, which is a real shame. Push up, pull back, push up. Yeah, personally, I've gone through the numbers. I was having a chat with who was I chatting with? Tony. Tony did the same, went through your chart. If you go through your chart and look at your trades, obviously good ones, don't add the ones where you're registered or anything like that. And it does kind of work better. Now that's interesting. I actually don't mind that, but I'm going to sit tight a minute here, because that may be a small break. There's something about this I don't like, so I'm going to leave this. You could sort of say it's 2 little legs up, and it would probably work, but there's something about it I don't like. So I'm just going to sit tight here. I can micro adjust that a little bit and it would look okay, I think. Just going to put that back to where I had it. It is working. It's just not a fan of it for some reason. Yeah. Someone else has just put that hidden second entry short. Can't see anyone who's taken it as of yet. I don't think it's a terrible trade. It's just something about it I don't like. It is holding. Maybe we get a lower high or a second entry short here. Let's see. I'm glad I stayed out of it. It did work, I think. No, it didn't. So I go for 3 points there. So I would have got 2 points because it would have to push through. So a lower high here or something. But I think that's a small break to me. And another thing that's solidifying that is he's got it as a small break. He's just pushed that up this minute. So it looks like it's working, but just not a fan of it. Tiny break like that. Not only that, it's that starting to stack a little bit. Shame that bar wasn't a little bit nicer. If that was a nice bearish bar, I would have had a go at that. But it wasn't, and then we had that one. But then we got a small break there. It's just something I don't like about it, but it would have worked. I think it would have got 3 points now. Yeah, it would have done. Yeah, I don't think many people took it that I can see. Someone said would have taken a fail second entry long. Thomas Wade didn't take it. He was looking for more of a second entry short here. Trouble is, although my gut feeling was telling me it was going to push down, I've taken them before and got stung. So it's got to be, that's where that discipline comes in, really. It's knowing that where the market's likely to go, but waiting because you haven't got a definitive setup. You took it for 4 ticks. Yeah, the thing about 4 ticks is it just does make it so much kind of safer in a way, doesn't it? Now, obviously, if it goes wrong, it costs you the full, the full amount. But yeah, it didn't have to go far for 4 ticks, that one. So if you took it here, if you took it, say there, oh Christ, yeah, you're out there already. It's such a small movement, isn't it? It's such a small move. 4 ticks. I think if you're a competent trader with good skills, I think you can make 1 point work because it really doesn't have to go far. Even sometimes when prices don't make the full amount, they still make a point. So, I had the impression that you can't do it. But if you're a good trader, I think for newbies, I wouldn't even touch 1 point. But if you're a skilled trader and you've been doing it, fair number of years, I think you can make it work. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's 90% to make it work, yeah. Still within 9 trades in every 10. If you're a good trader, I think you can do that, especially for a point. Okay, so it's clearly working down here as a nice spike and channel. It is fitting nice. Maybe that was... In fact, Mac will probably mark that anyway because it's off the key entry point. You had 93 in October. Good for you, mate. That's a good number, that is. Quick question, Jan. Have you been through your charts and seen what you'd have made if you'd have traded 6 ticks or 2 points? Just out of curiosity. That's a good number, that is. That's a really good number. And how many trades would you say you take a day? You usually take a couple, don't you? You usually take a couple. I think maybe you should stream, mate, and I should give up and we should just copy you, I think. I've not checked yet, but I'm not good at taking large targets. Yeah, I spoke to, it's probably about a year and a half ago now, I spoke to Daniel about that when he was taking a point. I said, has he not thought about going up? He said he finds it hard enough to sit through 1 point. That's a good record, that is. That's a good record, that. Requires a lot of discipline, but you sound like you've got plenty of it. You should start streaming, bud, getting people to watch you. I'd watch you. Taking 2 to 3 a day. Make up losses quicker than taking 3 trades a week. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's a shame, really, that there wasn't more setups. If there was some more setups, I may take slightly lower, but I tend to feel because of the lack of setups, I've got to try and capitalise. So we've got a channel down here, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher. I expect a break after this because we haven't gone very far, but there is a second entry short there. My only slight concern, I expected a break. Is that enough of a break? I kind of hope the bar finishes naff. Yeah, for me, this is one leg up. I'd like to come a bit higher. I hate it when it does that. Yeah, we got a leg up and another leg up. This, for me, can go up a bit higher, so I'm staying out of this even if it triggers. Although it's a second entry short, as we haven't come down to the bottom here, that often leads in a break, and that, to me, is not a convincing enough break. If I move that up a touch to fit here, it more or less fits, and I think that's risky. It has triggered. I wouldn't be shocked if that pushes up, because this is pushed up to test this. This could do the same, and the way that's triggered that for me is going to stop that out. So that's a good enough reason there to leave that trade. Granted, it's a second entry long. It is kind of off the key entry point, but because we didn't manage, like these couple of times here, we didn't manage to get down to the bottom of the channel, that often leads a break. And that break is not convincing enough for me. So let's see if this holds. The fact that it's done that straight away. So this might be a trade for Jan, this going for a point. Stop that out. It's a failure as well, isn't it? You've definitely got some shorts trapped. Let's see if unless it does come down. But now that's more of a break. It's still not a convincing one for me though. So but look at that now. We've had the break now and this thing's dropping. So whoever got in there short has just had a sigh of relief. I still don't think it's over yet. This could still go up a bit higher. Oh, look at that. Now it's back up to where it was. Now there's a failure. Shorts trapped. I think there's a good chance it gets up to here if it breaks above that. My funded... No, I don't, mate. No. I traded that differently. I was trying to swing trade that, but I wasn't very successful at it. My funded futures, yeah, no, I don't. So let's see if this is... Yeah, it's going to, isn't it? Which is a shame, really, because I dare say there'll be some traders taking that. Okay, so channel down. One attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. Let's see what happens here. I'm hoping we get a bearish bar above here.
Order submitted.
Great company to go with. Yeah, as far as I know, I've not heard any really bad things about them. No, I got nothing. I don't know a lot about them, to be fair, but I got nothing negative to say. The only issue I have about them and top take profit trader is they do this cheaper thing where they lump everything into one. I think you pay about $105, something like that, or $100. It's very tempting to go short here. Channel down, 2 pushes up, but I'm going to have to refrain
Order
at the moment.
canceled.
I was hoping to trap that. I think it's about $100. If you fail the evaluation, that's how much it's cost you. Whereas it's the same sort of price with Apex, $85 and $35, so it works out at $120. But if you fail the evaluation, it's only cost you $33 or whatever it is. So I prefer to do that because I do trade mine a little bit more aggressively. I shouldn't, but I do. But yeah, I think I think Take Profit Trader seem to be about the best at the moment. Is it Take Profit Trader? I think it's Take Profit Trader. Seem to be the best at the moment, but I think my funded futures are a close second. So leg and a leg. Surely we've got to come back down from this. So it's also looks a little bit like arrange. If we can push above there and give us a bearish bar, it's very tempting to take that. But it's triggered above here, but it doesn't seem in a rush to come down. I've started walking my stop to break even at 4 ticks though, so I don't take a loss after it gets. Yeah, some do that. The only issue with that is. So I was just looking. The only issue with that is a lot of times it comes back and takes stops, so it will take you take your points. You know what I mean? It's all right. I'm just looking at one of the Penguin trades. Let's have a look. He did take that one, didn't he? Which one did I say he took? It was that one there, wasn't it? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that's the one I mentioned about the Penguin. Channel down, 2 legs up, bearish bar. He took it here. And he got out. I'll show you actually. I think it's good to keep an eye on this sort of thing. Let's just see what's going on here. Yeah, that thing's going up at the moment. Let's have a look. Down channel could be different without a spike in channel if you start from the top. You on about that, are you? Down channel could be different. Oh, you're on about this. I think it's broken above there. You're on about like a 2-tiered channel. Yeah, it's still a break either way, really. So I'm just going to leave it there for a second. What was it? Oh, let's just have a quick look at my email and I'll show you that. Just pull this out of the way. Yeah. Why is that? Yeah, that was it there. I can't make it any bigger for some reason. Well, I can notice we had that leg down and that second entry. 2 legs up, and that's what he took there, which was that there. We had that leg down, 2 pushes up, and that's the one he took there. I did put that there a while, and he took it just below that EMA, I think, which is about there. So that's where your stop will go, and he's out comfortably for the lows. Yeah, in fact, I think he probably got on a bit lower there, something like that, but it was out before there, yeah. So channel down, 2 pushes up like that. When that comes down below that EMA, there's a good indication that's going to come lower. So I do watch a lot of his stuff. I think he's incredibly good at what he does. So this thing's going up, isn't it? So look. So if you don't watch Penguin, I think most of you do, I'd advise you to watch him. He's very good at what he does. And not only that, trades are very similar to Pat's. In fact, when I started trading a few of them, I noticed Mac marked them as well. These, you know, sort of, there's a slightly bigger version there, but if you look at that, with the exception of that, it's a second entry short. Now, if we didn't have this, so it's 2 legs up there, but we've actually got 2 bigger legs up. But what he does, he doesn't take that just in case. He waits for it to push below the EMA, indicating it's likely then going to push back. We've made 2 attempts to push higher, so he took it here, with the thought that this was going to push down these lows, and it worked beautifully. But that's a real good example of one of his trades. Very clear, that is. And it goes up in sections of 2, but look how it goes up there right to that and closes right at that tick. And it's clear because we've got 2 small legs and a pullback, and 2 small legs, but 2 larger ones broken into 2, and then straight down in 2 legs beautifully. So the market's moving in legs quite clear. We've got 2 legs up there, 2 legs up there, so it's working quite clear. That one as well there, 2 legs up there, 2 legs down here. So the market's moving quite nice today. There's not been a huge amount of setups because there's a bit of chop, but it is working nicely in legs, which does make it a lot easier to read. See, channel down, 1 leg up, 2nd leg up. We never had that push bearish below the EMA indicating it was going to come down. So if you don't watch Penguin, I'd watch his videos. He's brilliant at what he does. He really is. So I would say now I'm going to put that there and pull this down, and then say we've quite likely had a break. Channel break, new low, and then a push up. I'm a bit on the fence about this. I just noticed Thomas Wade's put it, and it looks quite nice on his. In fact, no, I still think it's a... Okay, that's better. Spike and channel, touch, still with a break. So I prefer the spike and channel. It fits nicer in my opinion. So let's put that there. Yeah, I like that one. It's fitting. So spike and channel, quick 2 legs down, a couple of little pullback, touch in, 2 legs up. There's that bearish bar, 2 legs down to a new low, and then up we go. So let's see if it attempts to push up here again. Trouble is, you never quite know when this thing is going to start to range. In this, we could sort of move into an area like that. In which case, if you think channel break, 2nd entry long, and you want to go long, and it triggers you, comes down at the bottom. So yeah, I think as a Pats trader, if you watch Penguin, I think that'll help you. It certainly makes things a lot more understandable to me. Shame that one. It's a shame it wasn't such a lot of support there. I'd have had a go at that one. I thought that was... The setup looked really nice, but the context for me was just into support, so you don't know whether that's going to trick you. See, we had a channel down there, 1 push up. Sometimes if you get in early, it'll trigger you, push up to the same height, and then push down. So there was 2 reasons why I left that. 1, we didn't push up high enough, and 2, we're going short into support. It's clearly a lot of support there, so that was something I just had to sort of stay out of, unfortunately. So let's see what happens here. Possible 2nd entry long. I just don't like this. Having said that, it looks better on my other chart. Hmm. Okay, we've been going 2 hours nearly. I'm just going to take a quick break, go make a cup of tea, and I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Let's have a look. Okay, so we did push up new high. Unfortunately, there's no setup there anyway. That's just naff. Now let's see what happens when we reach this area. And Marco took a trade there. Leg up, 2 legs back. It's just the bar I didn't like and below that EMA, but he took it and it worked. So look. So we are heading up. Let's see where we get to. Last few times we've got to this area, this is dropping. Okay, we're getting up to this measured leg now. Let's see what happens when we get to this area. Hmm. I mean, if we can bounce off here and get a lower high, I'd certainly be interested. Every time we come up here, bearish bar, we come down, bearish bar, come down, bearish bar. Well, maybe not so bearish, but that one is straight down. See, we had this channel. As soon as it got into this area, we pulled back, had one more hit, and that was it, reversed. Mm. Okay, let's see what happens when we get into this area again, if we get there. Okay, there's that measured leg. Now let's see what happens if we get into this area. Measured moves played out. Is this thing going to tank here, or is it going to push a bit higher? See if we get a lower high. Okay, we're into this zone now. That leg down, 2 pushes up. I'm guessing there'll be a lot of stops around there. Maybe another couple of legs up. Trouble is, depending on whether you see a leg and a leg here, this leg needs to go quite a bit further up before it has the same as that, so it's just hard to know what's going to go on here. Let me just check there's not a bigger channel. I don't think there is at the moment. It's possible, but we are seeing rejection every time we get up here. I don't want to automatically assume it's going to get rejected again. But we have had a measured move, so what I'll be looking for is a lower high or a failure below that EMA. I don't want to just get into anything while price is above it at the moment, just in case it does. I've sort of learned not to just automatically assume. I know this is an area where there's sellers. So if this can push down below that EMA, giving us the indication that we're starting to move down there, then that may interest me. So there is a lower high, but price is still above that EMA. What I'd like is a failure here. Push below the EMA, give us a bullish bar, second entry long, trap some longs, trigger them, and then come down. Trouble is, it didn't quite get as high as this, so it may have another go. So I was just hoping we'd have a bullish bar a little bit below this EMA, because I'd only take a fairly below the EMA. Okay, second entry long trapping. But price is still above the EMA, so I don't want to take a failure while price is still above here because it might backfire. Hmm. Okay, that had 2 goes and then dropped. This is the second go. Let's see how far this gets up. So we've had 3 attempts there. 1, 2, 3, or you may consider that 1. So is this going to now turn? It's going to get below the EMA, really. Trouble is, when we did here, the thing just dropped. There was a lower high there, but at the time, I steered out of it. So leg and a leg. This needs to get below that EMA, really. Okay, so we've had a leg and a leg. Let's see what happens here, whether this thing gives up. It's clearly going sideways, so you've got to give it a little bit of space just to see if it works. What I will say is this: if we got two legs up here, this is shorter than this one, so it may push up, but as we know, the last few times it's been up here, it's turning, so we shall see. And on this chart, it's not terrible looking second entry, but the context is we're hitting support right the way along here, so there's going to be longs in there. There'll be longs here. So could smash straight through this, or it could bounce again and then drop. But I'm not taking anything just yet. I can see this moving quickly. In what direction? I'm not sure. If it does push up to around about it, it's going to start eating stops, and quite a lot of them, so I expect this thing to rocket. Obviously, it depends how far it goes up. Once it sort of gets into this top half, I can see this really pushing strong. There's going to be stops here and above here as well. You're guessing they're going to be up here somewhere, the stops, so it may still have to go a fair way. Or it could move down equally as quick. Well, maybe not as quick, but there's longs in there. Maybe longs here with stops below. It's hard to say though. There is a higher low there. It's not a trade I'd want to take because 1, 2, 3, this thing could be a triple test and it could absolutely drop. Someone's taken that trade. pricey or risky, I think. We're in a bit of a range here, and it's halfway the range. I hope it works for him. But I have a feeling that's going to get eaten up. It's clearly stacked, and going long right at the top there, in my opinion, is risky. So I'll be amazed if that doesn't get stopped out. It's easy pickings, really, that is. So that may be a triple test. I'm still not ready to go short yet. Yeah, he took that one. It's just got risk written all over there, right in the middle of that little bit of a range. Just risky. In fact, tell a lie, he took that one there. But I don't believe he got his profit, did he? Or did he? He may have just done. He got it for 8 ticks. Yeah, he did. My mistake. I thought he took it up here. Yeah, I thought he took that one there. So stop's going to be there, I dare say, which is the one he took. Or you could say triple tested up. I certainly would not want to go along into all that support. There's some big sellers up here been able to push that price down like that and like that. So it's clearly there's lots of sellers up here. Big bearish bar there. Let's see what happens here. But my guess is this may be the top of the tree. It's clearly 3 times and a big bearish bar, so get sort of like a breakout pullback. I make a short there, we'll see. But we've made 3 attempts. Now you could say that's a triple test, but I don't really fancy going long because it could trigger you and then push down. So I'm kind of staying out of this. Whichever way this eventually goes, it's going to do it with some vengeance, I believe. Especially if it gets up here. Maybe a larger channel there. It's certainly feasible. Someone's taken a trade there, and they're out. Not yet. Above there a little bit, I think. It's just not enough for 3 points to be out for the top for me. It's got to get to there to push through. Now, granted, if it gets above some of this, it may rock it up, but it's just too much for me, that really. You don't know where this thing's just going to drop. It's clearly finding support. There's no argument there. Obviously, people are protected in this level. Back here, it pushed down 2 legs up, big bearish bar, and then it progressively got one. We got in here and it reversed quite sharply. So, with scalping a point, I think it's fine. If it does get into this area, I can see it really popping. Okay, let's see what happens now. I think this thing's going to move quick if it gets any higher. Oh, okay, so there's some sellers there by the looks of things. Okay. Let's have a look. Little double top, more sellers. Got to about this level, a little bit lower than this, so I think, oh, this is crunch point. If it gets above this, it'll buff, I think. Oh, let's put that back wherever it was, somewhere around about here. We're not far off these here. It's flickering around a little bit. This is the top of the tree, in my opinion. Push down, 2 pushes up, big bearish bar, and that thing came down. It has tested it a few times, so if it does push down, I think we're going to end up a lot lower. So let's see what happens. So we've got up a few times, big bearish bar there. Let's see where this goes. It could still continue on up, it's always possible, but it's clearly struggling there, and it was flickering around like it does before it's kind of ready to make a big move. I'm not even convinced this is a channel, really. Has anybody got that as? Yeah, a couple have. Maybe it is. Okay, is this the one? Channel down, a couple of attempts to go lower, up, and then down. So we're starting to see that pattern. Up, drop, up, collapse. Up, drop, up, collapse. Bunch of ups, cleared out these, cleared out any stops here. Now I think the chance of us coming down are pretty reasonable, I think. What I'd rather do is have a couple of attempts to push up that fail. Yeah, Thomas Way's just adjusted that. He's got it as a break. So break, new high. So this is showing all the signs now of this thing's going to come down. Unfortunately, we got to wait for a setup. So 3 legs, couple of attempts to push higher, and then hopefully find something short. And then I think there's a fair chance this thing then is going to come down to somewhere. These are the types of moves I like trading evaluations on, because you can take a risk, put it up here, and you may get that whole thing in one go. I would like a couple of more attempts to push up, or a second entry short here, and I think if we got a nice second entry short, that would be an absolute blessing in disguise. I can't see it for some reason. It would seem a bit too good to be true. A leg and a leg, new high from this after a break. Push down below the EMA. I'd like to at least have an attempt. I just don't think we're going to get it, though. I think it's just going to come down. I can't see buyers buying up here. I think the only thing left up here is sellers. Take away the buyers, add loads of sellers. The thing just comes down, so I don't know whether we're even going to get an attempt to push higher here. Come on, have a go. I think it's just going to come down. there is a bit of support here, so we may get a small pullback. But my gut feeling after this, we've done this multiple times now, big strong push for me. This is coming down now. The sellers have spoken. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break and I'll just be a quick minute. Okay, let's see if we get lucky. I don't think it's going to go much further. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Going to trap some longs, maybe thinking this thing is wider. So tempting to go short there. Longs there, longs there. Just can't do it, unfortunately. It's gone too far for a lower high, really. We've got to get a second entry short, really. Or at least get tight under there. Okay, let's get an order ready just
Order
in case
submitted.
we get lucky. Are we getting something like this? Well, trouble is, after such a big move up, I expected to get more than a small break and that.
Order cancelled.
Yeah. So easy to lose patience and think this thing's going to drop. And many a times I'd have just jumped in short here thinking this is going to drop and it doesn't. So as much as it looks like it's going to do something, you've still really got to wait for a good setup. Otherwise it can really screw you. Just when you think it can't go up and it's bouncing off here, all of a sudden it flies. The way it's closed right at support there, so we've pushed 2 legs up, we've pushed down to the bottom, we've had a pull back. Are we now going to come down for a second leg? Which would take us here. I think if we do get a second leg, this thing's going to drop. But I could completely be wrong. Could be a second entry short here, possibly if it breaks above there. Trouble is, it's so easy to get focused on this thing. Can't go up any higher because of all the sellers, and this thing's only coming down. And then you get in. I've done it myself. You get into an order in, it starts to backtrack, and you move, you stop, you move, you stop, you move, you stop, and all of a sudden, wham, up it goes. I mean, it's clearly hitting support multiple times. It is a second entry short there. Trouble is, it's 13 ticks. At the moment, we are still finding, let's just get rid of that. We are still finding support here, so it could come down half a point or a point and turn. So easy to get focused on going a certain direction. I think you've really got to be open-minded. This by far is not over yet until it starts to drop, and then it may... and then once buyers are getting out of the market, then once they get below these levels, this thing may have some legs. And so many times I got caught out on here by just jumping in short, thinking this has got to go down. Worst thing to think, it's got to do something. And then all of a sudden, woof, up it goes, and then it smashes straight through this lot and goes up to all-time highs again. My gut's telling me it's looking bearish, but I felt like that before. So you see a big bearish bar there, second entry short, and instead of waiting for it to trigger, you get a bit too excited thinking this thing's going to drop like a stone, and you jump in short there. And then that starts moving across and starts pushing up. And it stops you out. I've done it before. I'm not saying it's going to, but my guess is it's going to. Even the fact that it's triggered it, I still think it's likely, because there's bound to be traders who think this thing's going to drop. Leg down, leg down. We've clearly struggled to get up, and you never quite know. I'm just going to let this play out, then I am done for the day then. I took a trade on my one account earlier on for our streams, but nothing on these others yet. Still a possible second entry short, but it's just stacked up for me. Not only that, it looks like we may have had a small leg up. With a pullback, we may get another leg up. So leg and a leg. So I'm just staying out of this, really. It's struggling to make its mind up here. If you did jump into that bearish bar thinking it's going to move down, it still may stop that out. But there's a bullish bar there which is triggered, so it may push up, stop that out, and then drop and stop this bullish bar out. But it's just a no trade zone, this, really. I do like that we are holding on this line, but I still think that bearish bar is going to get stopped out. I hope I'm wrong. But the trouble is, when it's like this, it can just flick up in any direction and make it ruin your day. Okay, so there's a possible failure there. There may be two lots of bears in trades there, so that's broken below. Let's see if this pushes up, takes them out. I'll be surprised if that doesn't get stopped out. Having said that, it hasn't triggered anyway, but as that came down, there's bound to be sellers in there. In fact, it's looking better as a failure on my other chart. Push up a tick. So, in my opinion, that's going to get pushed above here as. So, if you took a short there, or you jumped in there thinking this is going to go down, but we have now had a leg and a leg, so this thing could sort of turn down now. But it's so easy to get focused on something here. I'm thinking, I don't know how many times I've gone, look at this. Every time we come up here, we're coming down. We've come up here again, we're coming down. It's looking the same. And it's very easy to get focused on going short. And you can't get short out your head because you're thinking, every time we've been up here, this thing's going to go down. And look at the move. I want a piece of this. And you get this straight down below the EMA and think, yeah, next bearish bar, I'm going to jump in. And you jump in here. If you don't jump in here, you take the second entry short there, although the bar's not brilliant, but hey, what does it matter? We look like we're coming down, and you get that focused on coming down. So what you do then is you lose your patience and you move your stop a bit higher, and what happens, this goes up a bit more, and then you move your stop to here and it goes up a bit more, and you move your stop up, and all of a sudden, once it gets above here, because of the stops here, it rockets up, and then you're blowing accounts. I can't tell you how many accounts I've blown exactly that same way. I get that focused on this has got to go down, it's got to go down. It hasn't got to do anything. chances are it may, and you've got to be aware of it. But it's so easy to get that sort of one way thought process, and you're in a kind of a spiral because you're that convinced it's coming down. You think, yeah, if I put my stop here, it'll be safe. Loads of bears up here, and then it works up a bit more, and either it hits you and you stop you out, or you decide to keep on moving it, and before you know it, when it gets up to here and it's smashed all those and going for new highs, that's where your account gets blown. It's happened to me so many times, but it still could drop. So it's just knowing when it's in an area where it's kind of crunch time and opening your mind, keeping an open mind that just because it's looking like it's done this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to. Until you get a significant move in a direction, you've really just got to stay out. I mean, how tempting is it to just drop a short in here and put your stop up here and think, woof, we'll catch a massive move like that? And it may happen. But at the moment, price is slowly working up. But also, we've had a break of the channel, one attempt to go higher. This could be a second attempt to go higher, so it may come down. But this, at the moment, really is a no trade zone until we get that move. This could be a penguin stuff, leg, but there you go. You may be jumping in here now thinking, yeah, here we go. Got me there, it won't get me again. And you jump in a short here as this is pushing down. All of a sudden it starts to pull back again like that. And you're like, oh, bugger, so you move your stop up a bit higher again. That pushes up, takes your stop out. There's 2 trades in a row. You've screwed up because you're that convinced this thing's going short. The algorithms that run all this system, they're so clever, and they're just, if you're taking risks and you're trading on emotion, it's never going to work because you're not thinking clearly. It's only when you think clearly do you make this work. Once those emotions start to take over, you start losing trades, you start panicking, you do stupid things. And whenever you do the stupid things, I tell you now, I know because it's happened to me so many times, you never win. It always catches you out. It's so cleverly designed, all this, to just pick off easy pickings and emotional traders that are panicking. As much as you sit here day after day, you really only have to wait for a good setup and nothing less. Because if you don't, and it's weird really, sometimes you think I'll be better off closing my eyes and picking a long or a short. And I think you better off you would, because some traders are that focused on going a certain way, and it's usually inexperienced traders that they tease you, and then off it shoots. You're thinking it can't go up any higher. And you start to move that stop and wham, it gets you again and you lose another trade. As I'm talking here, all these little memories of blown trades are come flashing back into my mind. I've just done it. I thought this has got to go down. Let's move me stop up here, and it doesn't. Once in a blue moon, you're right, you get away with it. But if you're taking risks and moving that stop and thinking, I'm safe, look at all this support. If you're thinking like that, it's only going to end in one way, because I've spent so many times blowing accounts like that by moving a bit. And it's unbelievable. 1 minute it starts to move down and you think you're safe and you jump in again because you're not thinking clearly. And then it seems, has anybody done that when you're revenge trading? The second you jump in, the market goes against you. It's uncanny how it works. It really is, because you're trading on emotions and you're not making sensible decisions. The market seems to do the complete opposite from what you think it's going to do. But if you hold back, stay out of this and keep an open mind, it does not make a difference. Take tilt trade and it goes against me. It just does. I exit and go in the other direction and immediately the market it's so clever how it works. It really does. And it happens the same. As soon as you go on tilt, you see the market push up, you jump in, it comes down. You see the market go down, you jump in short, it goes up. You know, the only way this works is if you're thinking clearly. It's simple when you think about it. So one, you need to learn the skills how to read the market, and that does take a bit of time. But once you've got those skills, the only way to do is to wait for a quality setup in the direction you're convinced it's going, and nothing less. As soon as you start to drop those standards and think, I'll have a risk here, it's got a way of literally sitting up and smacking you straight in the face. It really has. And sometimes, you know, like me, I'm quite stubborn, and I'm the type of person, I've got to bang my head against the wall enough times to realise it bloody hurts. And trading will do that to you. It'll hit you and hit you and hit you and hit you. And sometimes you keep sticking your head up with your eyes shut and you get hit down again. When it's like this, and it could go either way, as much as you think it's going to come down, because it should, because that's what it's done the previous times, the moment you start thinking it has to do something, that's when things start to go wrong. And, you know, Mac tells us every day it's a skill, it takes time. You know, you have to learn how the markets work. And this is the type of job I've never done a job with so many failures. You fail so many times, you kind of start to question yourself, am I ever going to get there? But after a while, you start to just have little reminders, like now I'm getting a little reminder that I'm focused, this thing has to come down, and it hasn't. And sometimes this is where I've lost accounts before, because I'm thinking I'll just go short here and I'll put my stop up here. And once in a blue moon it does, but most of the time it'll work up and take your stop, because it knows there are traders just automatically assuming something's going to happen. And it very rarely works in your favours. Forget how smart and edgy. Absolutely. I've heard, you know, some of these algorithms that run all this trading are programmed by maths geniuses. But if you sit and wait for a genuine trade, you've got a good chance of doing okay then. I mean, obviously you've got to learn, you've got to learn skills, but that does come. But you learn so much from your failures. But with trading, because there's so many emotions involved in it, you'll make that mistake so many more times. But there's no job out there where you can earn the amounts of money you can earn as a trader that's easy to do. You know, you want to become a doctor or something like that, you're going to do 7 years, aren't you? And you're still not going to earn as much money as traders can. And you're going to work 12, 14 hours a day for it. You know, it's never going to be easy, otherwise everyone would be doing it. And that's why there's such a high failure rate. See, look, you're thinking this thing's convinced down, so what you're doing, you're moving your stop, and thinking it has to come down. Look, it's got to come down. And you move your stop, and sooner or later you either get hit here or you run out of drawdown, and then all of a sudden it tends to go in the complete opposite direction. But yeah, you can almost time it by your watch. It's that flipping frustrating. But the simple thing is, and it really is simple, you have to wait for a setup, and that's it. And if you follow the rules and stick to them, you'll do well. But some people take a lot of reminding. I'm one of them, unfortunately. I'll be the first to admit. I've tried battling with the market, thinking if I throw enough money at it, I'll win. It just doesn't work that way. You have to kind of be a realist eventually and go, what I'm doing is not working. And then all of a sudden you'll stop taking. If you watch Sam was taking loads of trade, 5, 6, 7 trades a day, and really, there you go, smash straight up. So there goes your stop, and there goes your account. Sam was taking loads of trades. Now he's taking less trades. He's having some good success. I just still have this little thing where I'll take a risk from time to time, but after a while you start to learn, and sometimes some people just take a little bit more listening. So it's now broke above all of this lot whether you had your stop here. Now, there may be traders with stops a little bit higher than that. I probably would if I was going for a big move. So I still wouldn't be shocked if it triggered this and then pushed up that little bit higher. But look, just when you think if you manage to, get stopped out and not lose your account, you might think, here we go, another bearish bar. Surely now it's got to go down, and you jump in short, and then look what happens. Pushes straight back up. This market has got a way of chewing you up and spitting you out and walking all over. It's so frustrating. The overall picture is telling us it's got to come down, but the price here is telling you it's going to go up. Break, push up new high or whatever, but let's see if it gets a bit higher. I can see it pushing a bit more because there's probably going to be stops up here somewhere. Whether they'll be a bit higher, but I dare say there'll be some up here. But I expect a bit of a push if it goes much higher. So if you're convinced this is going to come down, you put your stop here. Jump in here carelessly, it takes you out. If your account's still alive and you're still breathing, you see that bearish bar and think, now this has to come down. So you jump in straight for a short. All of a sudden, 4 points later, you're out again. If all you do is sit and wait for a good setup and nothing more, nothing less, you'll do all right. But it does take some people a lot of listening, and I'm one of them. So I'm guessing why this thing's still going up is that, to me, looks like a bigger channel. Touch, 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 working along there nicely. And the back end as well. So I think that'll push up a little more. It may pull back temporarily, but it just goes to show how easy you can focus on the wrong direction. I'm aware that there's a good chance this can come down, but I have given up assuming something because, if you start panicking and things go wrong, once you get up here, you just drop a sell order and shove your stop and hope you get away with it. And so many times it just does the complete opposite. So I am done for the day, folks. Anyway, no trades today. We've done 3 hours and 20 minutes, but it doesn't bother me now if I don't get a setup. As long as I've done what I can, I kind of give myself a pat on the back if I've managed to keep my patience. So I'd be interested to see where price is later. I'll have a look later. So I appreciate all your comments. It's been an interesting day today. Massive amount of volume. Well, the afternoon slowed down a little, but overnight there was a huge amount of volume. Yeah, you too, Daryl. So yeah, anytime you guys want to chat, you can always private message me for whatever reason. I'll always answer. I'm happy to talk shop. So failing that, Thursday tomorrow, nearly another week done already. And November is all off and running. It won't be 5 minutes before we're in December and heading for Christmas. So I'll leave you guys to it. Best of luck if you're carrying on trading. Fail that. Have a great evening. Stay safe and we'll chat. Do it all again tomorrow. Bye for now.